Okay, hopefully this is working. I am going to start a little bit early here and see if any of you can see me. You should be able to also see a chat box. Let me just see if I can. Okay, so please let me know in the chat box if you can see me. And throughout the live, you should be able to ask questions and connect with me. So if you're here and you want to let me know who you are and where you're coming from, that would be great. Okay, so let me start by telling you a little bit about who I am and why I'm doing this. And actually, you know what? I'm going to wait another minute because it is 1 minute. Now it's 11 o'clock. This has been a long time coming. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. It's been a real trip setting this all up. So again, I hope you guys can see me. I have a lot of lights and cords and software and all this stuff going on so that hopefully this works. So this will be recorded by YouTube and available probably in about 24 hours is what I understand. So if you can't see it live, then you can definitely see the recording. So first things first, I'm Terry Eldridge. I'm a professional mixed media artist. I specialize mainly in abstract landscapes, and I teach beginning and experienced artists how to create truly authentic original art. I spent a year kind of refining my own process, and I had taken lots of classes and I did lots of different creative things, but I just wasn't able to pull it all together in my own voice and my own style. So I took a year to figure out how to do that, and it all just came together for me. And now I help other people do that, and it doesn't take a whole year. So that's a good thing. So I teach through online classes, live classes, and I also host international women's retreats. And I am in the process of getting myself to Costa Rica full time, my husband and I, while we try to sell our house in Northeast Florida. So I have a great passion for Costa Rica. I have a house that we rent down there, and a lot of the inspiration for my work comes from the scenery, the beautiful scenery, the rainforest, the beaches, the mountains, the volcanoes, all of it in beautiful Costa Rica. So that's a little bit about me, and I am on a mission to help as many people as I can really develop their creativity in a way that feels authentic to them. So yeah, it's really fun and very exciting. So I'm going to look over here because I have a little cheat sheet and I don't want to forget anything. Okay, so this is Mixed Media Mondays, and I used to do these as a recording, and then I had to edit it and put it up there, and people didn't necessarily know it was there. So I really teach much better live. So I've, like I said, wanted to do this for a long time. I just launched the new YouTube channel, so I had to have 50 subscribers in order for YouTube to let me go live. So thank you to all of you who subscribed to help that happen. And here we are. So instead of the recordings on each Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, I will do some kind of demonstration or tutorial, or I'll talk about supplies, or I'll kind of give you all little tips on how to get started, what to be thinking about, and just like fun things. And if you have any particular topics that you'd like me to address, then by all means send me an email and I will be happy to do that. And my email is Terry, Terry, at terryeldridge.com, and I'll make sure that that's in the description. I'll edit this when that gets posted. Okay, so in today's live, I'm going to show you how I start a painting, and this is in my free Magic in the Mess class, which is part of my free, I have a free membership. I also have a paid membership that's very reasonable. Those are both in the process of being launched, so they're not ready quite yet. But in the free one, Curious Art Lovers, you will find this great class called The Magic in the Mess. And it's how I start you kind of learning about the things that you like, colors, subjects, materials, all of that, and create mini studies and little mini paintings through a layering process. And layering is one of the key things that makes my work so interesting. I know you can't see it, but behind me is one of my large waterfall paintings, and it has 6 types of media in it. It's very textured, and it's a really, really cool piece. So layers make such incredible interest, and nothing you can get with just using paint. So yes, it's original art. One of the things I encourage you to do, like I mentioned earlier, I have taken lots and lots of art classes from amazing, amazing artists. And I have gleaned bits and pieces from all of those classes to help me refine my process and what parts of those work in my work. And so I encourage you to keep taking classes and record what you learn and the bits and pieces that resonate with you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to switch to desktop view, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I recommend that you do getting started in mixed media art. So hang on, hopefully all goes well. Technology is great when it works. That's what I always say. Okay, there we are. Hopefully you can see that. Excuse my squeaky chair as I move here. Okay, so the first thing that I always recommend that students do is get a mixed media or a 140-pound watercolor book like this to record and do mini studies and kind of start telling the story about your creative journey. So you'll find that recording in this, over time, you're going to start to see your process develop, and you'll start to see your work get better and better and better. We do this over a week long. In my retreats, we do it over a week long, and then in my full day classes, we do exploring mixed media and hand printed papers. That's a big part of my work, are my custom hand printed papers. So I'm going to take you through a little bit about how I work and some of the things that I use, and then I'm going to add a layer onto this piece that I have started to add collage papers to. So you'll see on the right sort of just a blob of paint. I started this, I always start with writing on my substrate, whatever that is. I work a lot on wood panels, and I write words or scribbles or some kind of message, and it's kind of a metaphor for wanting my art to speak. And then I will take my color palette for whatever I've decided to do. Sometimes it's very intuitive. I don't have a plan. A lot of times I don't have a plan. But if I do have a reference photo or something that I'm working from, I will get my color palette ready. And then I have lots and lots and lots, like ridiculous amounts of papers, all in bags. And I will gather some of those in the color family that I'm working on. So I save everything, absolutely everything. And then I'll get my paints ready, and I use this, excuse the reflection of the light, but this is a wet palette. It's very inexpensive. I have a video here on my YouTube channel to show you how to create one of these. And it's just a container from the dollar store, I have some dry ones here, these blue shop cloths, really wet underneath, you can see it here, underneath, 2 layers of that underneath a layer of parchment paper. And I've been working with these paints all week, so they stay nice and wet. I work in acrylics, and they dry really fast. So this allows me to use my paints and not waste any. I'm all about not wasting anything. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And then Also, what I do is underneath on my table, I don't know that you can see it, but I have it covered in brown paper. But I always have a piece of newsprint, clean newsprint underneath my work, and I offload all of my paint onto that newsprint. And as a result, I start getting backgrounds and other custom printed papers just by offloading it. So this one I used a stencil, I had some leftover paint, and I just quickly put that on there, same here. This is just paint that I brushed on. So eventually, actually, I think this one's going to turn into a little painting because it has the outline of a quetzal, all by mistake, which is a really unique bird in Costa Rica. Okay, so let me show you really quick a couple pieces I'm working on. So here is a piece in progress, and if you look really close at this, I don't know if you can tell, but there's papers, there's paint, there's scribbles with paint pens, there's some molding paste, there's a lot going on here, and that's what's going to give it all this interest when it's finished. All right, so let's get to it. So I'm going to show you how I add layers once I get this background finished. And I've got, hopefully you can all hear me, and for some reason I'm not seeing the chat. So if you're asking me questions or commenting, I'm really sorry that I can't see that. This will get better and better once I get better. So again, bear with me here. Okay, so like I said, I typically do landscape. So I've got several things here. I've got some stencils, and I don't use these traditionally. I use them very randomly. And I've got a stamp. I've used this stamp so many times. You can tell it's very loved. And once again, I will use this not as a pure stamp in the way it is, but just parts of it. It's what I did here where you can see the hot pink edges. So I don't use anything necessarily in its purest form because then it would look too done. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. And I don't worry too much about what I use. I like to use little spongy things for stenciling, but I'm just going to use a brush for this. And I'm going to get some of my green. I'm just going to start, and I'll use different shades of green because, you know, when you look at foliage, it has different colors, right? Underneath it's going to be darker where it's in shadow. And I would usually be a little more careful doing this. But you can see, and then I'm just going to go in this direction. I'm just tossing it on there because in the rainforest, nothing is neat and organized. It's all over the place. And you can already see that that's adding this layer of greenery and interest that I didn't have 2 minutes ago. And then I'm going to take my, let me move this a little, just show you. So I've got a little leftover. I'm just going to take that leftover, got a little more here, and I'm just going to throw this on this newsprint paper. There. And so I've already started to create the base for another custom printed paper. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I recommend keeping a Rubbermaid with water in it and throwing all your stencils in there to keep them as clean as you can. Mine are not very clean. Okay, and now I'm going to mix a green. You can see I'm only using parts of the stencil. I'm not using the whole thing. And so eventually I will fill all this in. I'll have all kinds of different foliage here. And I'll keep adding and adding to that. And then at some point, I have this little bright green that I've made. I'll go in and start adding some light on the tips. And I don't know if you can see that very well. But this is how I layer, and this is how I create these beautiful landscapes that I love so much. And you'll see, you know, if your piece is looking really flat, then go ahead and put something else on it. So I've got this very bright hot pink. I learned about this color from my good friend Ellie McIntosh, Ellie Mac Design. She's an amazing artist. And I might pop some of this in there to show little bits of flowers. And I might go over it later and just add some more interest to these little dots, but right now I'm just, not too much. And I'm doing them on the stencil that has the same pattern, because I want these to look like the same kind of plant, right? So this piece, when I started to put it together, I wanted it to be like a stormy, rainy day. There's a little bit of a piece there that's lighter that will be a little bit of light. So I'll add light and all of that. This has a long way to go. But I wanted it to represent the rainy season in Costa Rica, which is very green and lush, but can be very stormy. So when I created the base for both of these, they looked similar. I took the green and the blues were in a different place on this one on the left, but this is how I started this painting. And then I'll continue to work on this painting and add more to it, create a little bit more distinction between the foreground and the background, add some light, and a few more details, and then I'll have this sweet little 5x7 painting. This is taped off. I know it's hard to see, but it's taped off with artist tape. So once I finish creating these two paintings, I will pull the tape, and they'll be nice, crisp, beautiful little paintings. So I will be sure to share these in my email. I hope you're on my email list. If not, make sure to do that. You can go to my website at Terry, Terry Eldridge.com. And I'll also let you know, if you're on my website, I'll let you know about the free membership. That should be available in the next couple of days. And any questions or any thoughts or needs that you have as you're creating your own mixed media art or original art, I would love to hear about. So I really love talking to people. I can talk a lot. Actually, this could probably go on for a long time. But I read every single email that people send me. So please feel free to reach out anytime. If you can attend a live class, I don't do too many live classes, usually just 3 or 4 a year. I have one coming up in Atenas, Costa Rica on July 11th. Not sure when I'll be doing more towards the end of the year. I do have a women's retreat in Costa Rica in January that is sold out, but I will be scheduling another one. And I also have a retreat coming up in March of 2028. I know it sounds like it's far away, but it goes so fast, in Marrakesh, Morocco. So check me out online. Please subscribe and follow me here. Hopefully you could all see this. If not, well, we'll try again next week. But as always, I'm here for you and excited for you to create beautiful, amazing mixed media art that really speaks to your heart. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week on Mixed Media Mondays.